Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Crime Story Diaries. Today we'll be examining a terrifying case, so I invite you to watch the video. Don't forget to leave your comments and likes. On a quiet summer night in Davidson County, North Carolina, the lives of two families were forever changed. What began as a seemingly normal evening, a family dinner, children being tucked into bed, ended in tragedy and a mystery. As the investigation unfolded, a complex web of relationships, conflicting statements, and unexpected evidence emerged. What really happened in the Corbett home that fateful night? Was it a case of justified self-defense or a carefully orchestrated plot? Jason Corbett was born on February 12, 1976, in Limerick, Ireland. He was one of 8 siblings, including a twin brother named Wayne and a sister named Tracy. The Corbett family, while not impoverished, faced financial challenges during Jason's youth. His parents, John and Rita, worked hard to provide for their large family, but money was often tight. At one point, when his father lost his job, Jason took on a part-time security position at his school's sports center to help support the family. As a young man, Jason was known for his cheerful, kind, and energetic personality. He developed a strong work ethic early in life, which would serve him well in his future career. By the age of 27, Jason had become a director at a small packaging company in Ireland. In 2003, at the age of 27, Jason married Margaret Fitzpatrick, known affectionately as Mags. The couple soon welcomed 2 children into their lives, a son named Jack and a daughter named Sarah. Jason and Margaret's family life in Ireland seemed idyllic, but their happiness was tragically short-lived. On November 21, 2006, just 3 months after Sarah's birth, Margaret experienced a severe asthma attack in the middle of the night. She woke Jason, struggling to breathe. Despite Jason's efforts to help her with medication and an inhaler, Margaret's condition rapidly deteriorated. Jason called for an ambulance, but Margaret tragically passed away during the journey to the hospital. She was only 31 years old at the time of her death. In the wake of Margaret's death, Jason found himself a 30-year-old widower with 2 young children to raise. Jack was 2 years old, and Sarah was just 3 months old. Jason's friends observed his profound sadness and struggled to cope with the loss. For about a year, he managed on his own with the help of family and friends, but eventually decided he needed more consistent support in caring for his children. In 2007, Jason began searching for a nanny and housekeeper to assist with childcare and household duties. This search led him to Molly Martins, a 25-year-old American woman from Knoxville, Tennessee. Molly Martins had a complex background of her own. She was the only daughter in a family of 4 children with parents who were highly educated and relatively wealthy. Her father, Tom Martins, had spent 30 years working for the FBI, while her mother was a doctor of mathematics. Molly had initially pursued a medical degree at Clemson University in South Carolina in 2003, but dropped out due to the challenging nature of the studies. Prior to applying for the au pair position with Jason, Molly had been in a relationship with a man named Keith Megan. Their relationship had been complicated by Molly's mental health issues, including a diagnosis of depression and bipolar disorder. Molly had experienced significant struggles, including a miscarriage and a brief stay in a psychiatric unit at Emory Hospital in Atlanta in February 2008. In early 2008, Molly applied for the au pair position with Jason Corbett. In her application, she included information that would later be revealed as false, such as claiming to have graduated from Clemson University and stating she had been vetted and approved to be a foster parent. Molly Martins arrived in Ireland from the United States in March 2008. A longtime friend of Jason's met her at the airport. This friend instantly had reservations about Molly, feeling she wasn't fit for the role of a nanny and housekeeper. Molly appeared young for her age, sporting a flamboyant style with a bright coat adorned with a fur collar, cowboy boots, lush curls, and heavy makeup. To the friend, Molly resembled more of a theatrical queen than a serious candidate for the position. Despite these initial impressions, Molly quickly bonded with Jason's children, Jack and Sarah, displaying tenderness and care in her interactions with them. Jason's close friends noticed how he gradually recovered after the death of his first wife. He seemed to thaw and come back to life. Feelings soon sparked between Jason and Molly, and they began a romantic relationship. The couple, along with Jack and Sarah, went on a vacation together. They had a great time and grew closer, beginning to plan their future life together. 2 years after Molly's arrival in Ireland, on Valentine's Day 2010, Jason invited her to a cafe. There, he gave her a ring and proposed. Overjoyed, Molly immediately started planning their wedding in America. She convinced Jason to move to her home country, and he agreed. In 2011, Jason sold his house in Ireland and transferred his job to the United States. The family settled in Davidson County, North Carolina, where Jason and Molly got married in a ceremony attended by many relatives and friends from both America and Ireland. The wedding took place on June 4, 2011, at the Bleak House in Knoxville, Tennessee, where Molly was originally from. Her father, Tom, walked her down the aisle, and Jack and Sarah participated as the ring bearer and flower girl, respectively. However, Tracy Lynch, Jason's sister, observed some concerning dynamics during the wedding. She noticed that Molly exerted considerable control over Jason, often becoming upset if things didn't align with her expectations. Molly's reluctance to interact with Jason's visiting relatives raised further concerns. After the wedding, Jason and Molly settled into their new life in North Carolina. Jason held a managerial position at an international packaging company, while Molly worked as a swimming instructor but primarily focused her attention on Jack and Sarah. Initially, their marriage appeared harmonious. Molly had formed a close bond with Jason's children, and they referred to her as their mother. However, as their first wedding anniversary approached in 2012, Jason expressed a desire to return to Ireland, his homeland, citing unhappiness in a foreign country. This disclosure marked the beginning of a decline in the couple's relationship. Over time, Jason and Molly's marital relationship started to deteriorate. One significant point of contention was Jason's resistance to Molly's intentions to legally adopt Jack and Sarah. Jason wanted to preserve the memory of their biological mother and refused to allow the adoption. During this period, Jason grew increasingly concerned about Molly's mental well-being, suspecting she might have a psychological disorder. He observed a stark contrast between her initially sweet demeanor and her subsequent behavior, which he perceived as more manipulative and controlling. Molly began to isolate Jason from his family, often curtailing his phone conversations with them to mere seconds. She also started to express negative sentiments about Jason, particularly following his death. Molly confided to a friend that Jason was domineering and abusive, accusing him of forcing her into intimate acts, verbally abusing her, and progressively worsening in his treatment towards her. Despite these allegations, Molly did not report these incidents to the authorities. On the advice of her lawyer, Molly began secretly recording their conversations. In these recordings, Molly appeared disengaged, often ignoring Jason's repeated questions while he escalated his voice. One such recording from December 2013, titled "Jason Comes Home Late," captured an argument where Jason angrily confronted Molly about a locked door. The recording included sounds of apparent physical altercation and Molly's sobs. Jason's family, particularly his sister Tracy, became increasingly concerned about the relationship. Tracy reported that by 2014, Jason had been planning to move back to Ireland. He expressed unhappiness with his life in America, had started gaining weight, and was troubled by some of the things happening at home. Jason missed Ireland and confided in Tracy that it would be difficult for him to leave once Molly found out about his intentions. Despite the children calling Molly Mom, Jason remained firm in his decision not to allow her to become their legal guardian. He also refused to use his wife's citizenship to obtain a visa for himself, as this would have given her legal grounds to claim custody of the children in the event of a divorce. On the evening of August 1, 2015, Molly's parents, Tom and Sharon Martins, visited the Corbett family's home in Davidson County, North Carolina. They arrived around 8:30 p.m., just in time for a late dinner. Jason welcomed them in the driveway and assisted with their luggage. Tom had brought a baseball bat as a gift for Jack, who was out at a party with friends at the time. The family, including Jason, Molly, her parents, and Sarah, had dinner together, opting for pizza. Jack returned home around 11 p.m., but Tom chose not to give him the baseball bat at such a late hour, intending to present it the following morning. After 11 p.m., the family retired for the night. Molly and Jason slept in the master bedroom on the first floor with Jack and Sarah in adjacent rooms. Molly's parents were accommodated in the guest room on the second floor. In the early hours of August 2nd, around 3 a.m., an incident occurred that would result in Jason Corbett's death. The exact details of what transpired are disputed, with conflicting accounts from Molly and Tom Martins versus the evidence later presented by prosecutors. At approximately 3 a.m. on August 2nd, Tom Martins called 911. He reported to the dispatcher that his son-in-law, Jason, had gotten into a fight with his daughter, Molly. Tom stated that he had intervened and that Jason was in bad shape, bleeding profusely, and possibly already dead. He urgently requested an ambulance to be sent to their location. According to the account given by Molly and Tom to investigators, the incident began when Sarah woke up due to a nightmare and came to her parents' room. Molly says she took Sarah back to bed, but upon returning, Jason was angry about being woken up. They claim an argument ensued, which escalated to Jason allegedly attacking Molly and attempting to strangle her. Tom Martin stated that he heard screams and loud voices from the first floor. He grabbed the baseball bat he had brought as a gift for Jack and went downstairs to investigate. Tom claimed he entered the master bedroom to find Jason holding Molly by the throat with both hands. He yelled at Jason to let her go, but Jason allegedly threatened to kill Molly. In their account, Tom said he struck Jason with the baseball bat, but Jason seemed unaffected. They described a struggle in which Jason attempted to drag Molly into the bathroom. Tom intervened, and at one point he fell and his glasses flew off. Tom claimed he feared for his life at this moment. According to their story, Jason reached for the bat on the floor, at which point Molly grabbed a stone paver and saying, "Don't touch my dad," struck her husband on the head. Tom then took the baseball bat and continued hitting Jason until he fell to the floor. When police and emergency services arrived at the scene approximately 10 minutes after the 911 call, they found a gruesome situation. Molly was outside near a car, appearing distraught, but without actual tears. Inside, they discovered 39-year-old Jason Corbett's lifeless body in the main bedroom. The room was covered in blood splatters across the bed, walls, and floor. Both Tom S. and Molly S. clothing bore blood stains, and dried blood marked Jason S.'s body. Near Jason lay a baseball bat and a large cobblestone, both with traces of blood, as well as an overturned lamp. Throughout this ordeal, Jack and Sarah had remained asleep in their rooms. The crime scene presented a more violent picture than what Molly and Tom S. claims of self-defense suggested. One first responder described it as overkill. The paramedic who examined Jason S.'s body found his torso already cold, with patches of dried blood, contradicting Molly S.'s assertion that they had immediately called 911 after Jason lost consciousness. The autopsy revealed the grim details of Jason S.'s demise. The cause of death was determined to be traumatic brain injury. Jason had suffered approximately 12 strikes to the head, with both a baseball bat and a brick. These blows were concentrated on the same area, leading to his scalp being severely torn from his skull, and his skull itself being fractured. Notably, the medical examiner concluded that at least one of these strikes was inflicted after Jason had already passed away. The toxicology report provided additional insights. It indicated that Jason S.'s blood contained slightly higher than normal levels of alcohol, but at 0.02%, it was far below the level that would indicate intoxication. Additionally, traces of trazodone, an antidepressant medication commonly prescribed for insomnia, were found in his system. It was later revealed that Molly had been prescribed trazodone just a few days prior to the incident on July 30, 2015. When questioned by the police, Molly claimed that Jason had been heavily drinking all day. However, this claim was inconsistent with the toxicology results. She also stated that there was a brick on her bedside table, explaining that they had brought it inside due to rain, intending to decorate it later as an art project with the children. Both Tom and Molly were taken to the police station for questioning. They did not deny their involvement in Jason S.'s death, but asserted it was in self-defense. Tom, a 66-year-old FBI veteran with 30 years of experience, stated that his son-in-law was insane and constantly tormented his daughter. During her interrogation, Molly told investigators a similar story to her father S. She claimed that Jason had become very angry when Sarah woke up screaming from night terrors, which led to him lashing out and attempting to strangle her. Molly stated that she hit Jason with the heavy stone to save her father. When police asked about the origin of the large stone, Molly explained that it was on her bedside table as they had planned to paint it with the children to make decorative flower beds. She couldn't recall how many times she hit her husband, only saying it was a real battle for her life. During the interrogation, Molly complained of pain from Jason S.'s alleged choking. The police photographed her, noting a red mark in the center of her neck. However, when they compared these photos with ones taken at the time of arrest, there were no red spots visible on her neck at the time of detention. 4 days after Jason Corbett's death, his children, Jack and Sarah, aged 10 and 8 respectively, were interviewed by a child welfare professional. In this interview, they shared observations about their parents' relationship. They mentioned their mother, Molly, being cautious about not waking their father, fearing it might anger him. Jack specifically mentioned the cobblestone on the bedside table, confirming they had brought it inside due to rain, intending to decorate it later. Both Jack and Sarah described incidents where they witnessed physical altercations initiated by their father against Molly. They recounted occasions where Jason physically assaulted Molly, including hitting and pushing her, and frequently snapping at her over minor issues. Following Jason S.'s death, a custody battle quickly ensued. Jason had previously designated his sister, Tracy Lynch, as the legal guardian for Jack and Sarah in the event of his death. Tracy promptly traveled to North Carolina to file for custody, anticipating a legal battle with Molly, who also sought custody rights. 16 days after Jason Corbett's passing, Tracy Lynch took Jack and Sarah to Ireland, separating them from their stepmother, Molly. This move left Molly in a state of shock and despair. She attempted to reach out to the children through phone calls and social media posts, hoping these messages would somehow reach them. In January 2016, approximately 6 months following Jason S.'s death, Tom and Molly were unexpectedly indicted for second-degree murder. By July 2017, 2 years since the incident, the father and daughter duo faced their trial together. They maintained their stance of having acted in self-defense in Jason S.'s killing. During the trial, the prosecution contended that the severity of the blows indicated deep-seated animosity, not mere self-defense. An expert, analyzing the bloodstains, deduced that some strikes were dealt when Jason S.'s head was 30 to 50 centimeters off the ground, suggesting Tom continued to hit him even when he was down and no longer dangerous. Bloodstains on Molly S.'s pajama bottoms suggested her proximity to Jason during these blows. Lieutenant Frank Young, assigned to document injuries on Tom and Molly on the night of the incident, took the stand. He recounted observing Molly's self-inflicting marks on her neck. Lieutenant Young repeatedly instructed her to stop and noted that apart from dried blood on her cheek, forehead, and hair, he saw no other injuries on her. Similarly, Tom exhibited no injuries on the front of his shirt. However, blood was detected on his watch dial, beneath his fingernails, and his glasses remained unbroken. The trial further revealed that Jason Corbett had a life insurance policy naming Molly as the beneficiary. Additionally, it was disclosed that Jason had frequently sent money to Molly's parents during his lifetime. For example, in 2011, he sent $50,000 to Tom, purportedly for wedding expenses. A neighbor of the Corbetts testified during the trial, recounting how he and Jason had spent the evening together on August 1st, drinking beer from about 3:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The neighbor described Jason as very relaxed. He witnessed Tom and his wife arriving at the Corbett's residence, with Jason welcoming them and assisting in carrying heavy bags from their car into the house. Jason's interactions with his in-laws were noted as calm. The court also heard from a nurse whom the couple had seen before the tragic event. She reported that she had prescribed trazodone to Molly just a few days prior to the incident on July 30th, 2015. Jason had visited the hospital 2 weeks before his demise, where he expressed concerns about frequent bouts of dizziness, tension, and unprovoked anger. Following 9 days filled with witness accounts, debates, and disturbing crime scene photos, the jury reached a verdict in just 3 hours. Molly Corbett and her father, Tom Martins, were convicted of second-degree murder and received sentences of 20 and 25 years in prison, respectively. When the verdict was read, Molly turned to her mother and expressed regret, stating, "I am so sorry, but I shouldn't have let him kill me." Merely an hour after the jury delivered their verdict, a juror accidentally disclosed outside the courthouse that they had discussed Jason Corbett's case prior to the formal deliberation period, a significant breach of legal protocol. Following this revelation, the defense quickly submitted a request to overturn the conviction, citing the juror's misconduct. However, the trial court judge dismissed this motion. A year later, the defense approached the appellate court, highlighting various investigative errors. Among these was the issue of bloodstains on Tom Martin's shorts. The prosecution had suggested these stains, which were assumed to be Jason's blood but never actually tested, indicated Tom standing over Jason during the assault. The prosecutor deemed testing every blood spot impractical and unnecessary. The defense also emphasized the importance of the initial statements made by Jack and Sarah. They initially claimed their father was abusive towards Molly and expressed fear of him. The defense argued that the siblings' later retractions, where they admitted to lying, were influenced by professionals pressuring them to change their testimony. On February 4, 2020, the North Carolina Court of Appeals determined that Tom Martins and Molly Corbett should be granted a new trial. This decision was later upheld by the Supreme Court of North Carolina. Subsequently, both were released on a $200,000 bond while awaiting the retrial. They were required to hand over their passports and were forbidden from making any contact with Jack and Sarah. In November 2023, a new trial took place. The judge ordered Molly Martins and her father Thomas to prison for a minimum of 7 months. After an emotional final day of sentencing hearings, the pair were let out of a North Carolina court in handcuffs, receiving sentences ranging from 7 to 30 months for the voluntary manslaughter of Jason Corbett. This sentence was in addition to the 3.5 years Molly and Thomas had already served after their previous conviction for murder. As of the most recent information provided in the sources, Jason Corbett's children, Jack and Sarah, are now residing with their biological aunt, Tracy Lynch, in Ireland. Sarah, age 16 at the time of the latest updates, has authored a series of books aimed at helping others deal with the loss of parents. Her first book is called Noodle Loses Dad, and it's a story about loss and redemption. Sarah reads it to kids in schools in her hometown of Limerick. Jack, meanwhile, is described as a singer-songwriter and an accomplished rugby player in Limerick. Both children have continued to advocate for justice for their father and are expected to be key witnesses for the prosecution in the upcoming trial. Tracy Lynch, Jason's sister, has also penned a book about her brother during these years of legal battles. Her aim is to share the kindness and decency of Jason Corbett with the world. A notable excerpt from Tracy's book reads, "Deep down, I smile when I realize that Jason has finally returned to the only place on this earth he ever wanted to be, in the arms of his beloved Margaret." The tragic death of Jason Corbett remains a complex and controversial case, highlighting the challenges in determining truth amidst conflicting narratives. Despite multiple trials and appeals, questions linger about the events of that fateful night. The case underscores the devastating impact of domestic violence allegations, international custody disputes, and the complexities of blended families. As Jack and Sarah rebuild their lives in Ireland, the quest for justice continues, reminding us that in matters of life and death, the path to truth is often long and winding. Traditionally, thank you for watching and remind you that it would be great if you support the video by liking and subscribing to the channel.